Hello everyone, this session is a continuation of Introduction to Pivot Tables Part 1. We ended Part 1 while looking at a pivot table with nested fields in the rows section, where we have shopping mall and category fields, all lumped in one section of rows. If you missed Part 1, you can check it out by clicking on the link on top of this video. Therefore, as a continuation, let me create a simple cross-tabulated pivot table so I can again remove these fields by dragging them out. Now I want to create a cross-tabulated pivot table that is creating two-dimensional tables. I want to view the cells by category and by gender. I bring the cells again to value section, but I want to view by category, so I can bring category field to rows. I view the sum of cells per category, but I want also to view by gender. I come and drag the gender field and bring it to columns. So you can see that here I can be able to tell that under this category of books, these cells were made by females and these cells were made by males. I can also format to view the values properly. I want currency without decimal places. I click OK. I can view the cells made per category, and this is called cross-tabulated pivot table simply because I have fields in row section and fields in the column section. They are not nested under rows or columns. From here, I can also add the shopping mall field. Let me bring the shopping mall fields and bring it to rows. Now I can again slice and be able to view according to shopping malls and according to categories. Similarly, I can bring shopping mall up so that I can view the values according to shopping mall, category, and gender. This is how wonderful pivot tables are to create reports very quickly in a few minutes. Let me show you another example using dates, so I can again remove these fields out of these sections. I want to summarize my data so that I can view cells made per year and per month. Again, I drag the cells and bring it to value section. I come to invoice date, I drag it and bring it to rows. You can see that now it is showing me the sum of cells per year. And automatically, when you drag the date field into the rows, it does the grouping of dates. But my interest is in viewing only the years and the month. So I have to remove the quarters section. Then I also remove the date section so that I remain with years and months only. If I want to view now according to month, I come and expand here because this is a hierarchy. I right click, I choose expand the entire field. So I can be able to view the sum of cells made per month and per year. I can also format, right click, I choose number format, come to number here, or currency, I remove the decimal places, I click OK. But now if I want to view according to year and quarters, I need to change the grouping. Let me first ungroup this. If I want to view according to years and quarters, I right click, then I come to group. In the grouping dialog box, automatically it senses the starting date and the ending date. So I want to view by years and by quarters. So I deselect now the month option. I click OK. I can view the cells per year and according to quarters. I can also change the layout of the report by, for instance, bringing years to columns section. So you can see now that here you can view the years in the column section and quarters as rows this side. Again, if I want to view according to shopping malls, I can bring the shopping mall field and bring it in rows here. And you can manipulate your report by simply clicking and dragging the fields. For instance, here if I drag the shopping mall and bring it up, you can see that it has now changed the layout where it displays the shopping mall with the corresponding quarters. If I want again to fill the entire field here with the shopping mall names, I come to report layout, choose repeat all item fields. Here the shopping mall names fill the entire field. So I can again remove them by choosing do not repeat item labels. So you can see how a pivot table can easily create a wonderful report just by using a few clicks by dragging and dropping. You can also decide to hide these collapsing and expansion icons. If you want to hide them, you click on the Pivot Table Analyze tab. In the Show Group, click on this buttons option. When I click, you can see that the expansion and collapsing icons have disappeared. To bring them back, you come back in the Show Group and check the option here, buttons. They get displayed again. Now, let me show you a simple example of how we can create a simple pivot chart. So I can again remove these fields from the sections. I want to create a simple pivot chart where I'm going to use the total sales by category. So I bring back the sales here in value section, and I want category in the row section. Let me format. Now I want to display this in a pivot chart. I can also add another column for percentage sales by category. So I can come, drag back the sales to values. I come, right click and choose show values as percentage of grand total. Get the sales in terms of percentages. I can again rename the columns percentage sales. Then this one, I also call it sales. Put a space after sales because I already have sales field here. So I put a space to make it accepted there. I press enter. Now I want to create a simple pivot chart. To create a simple pivot chart, you click on the Pivot Table Analyze tab, come to Tools option, click on Pivot Chart. It brings the Insert Chart dialog box. From here, you choose the type of the chart you want. There is line graph, column, bar graphs, different versions of graphs. Me, I want a combination of column graph and the line graph. So I choose combo. And from this combo section, you can see that here it is giving me the sales legend and the percentage sales. Because there are two different columns, I can create a secondary axis for percentage sales. So I come to sales option here, check this box for secondary axis. It creates an extra axis for percentage sales. Click OK. I get the chart inserted. Now from this chart, I can do different modifications. I can, for instance, change the figures being displayed on this vertical axis. I can right click in this axis. I choose format axis. From the format axis here dialog box, I want to display in 10,000s. So here it displays the sales in 10,000s. I can also bring the legend to be at the bottom. So if I want the legend to be at the bottom, I come and click on this plus icon. Under legend here, I click this arrow. I choose the position. I want it at the bottom. So it comes down here. I'm trying to create a space for the pivot chart. I can drag again, create more space for the chart. And these pivot charts are dynamic in a way that they keep changing according to the data you have. For instance, if I come and filter according to categories, here it is displaying the graph for all categories. But if I choose few of them, let's say if I choose books and clothing and click OK, you can see that the graph changes. And come back, choose more, keeps changing. So if you come and again select for all and click OK, you get the pivot chart displaying for all categories. Continue formatting the chart. I can decide to hide all these fields. I right click and choose hide all field buttons on chart to create more space. I can also display the labels. I click on this plus icon. Then I come to data labels and choose where I want them to be displayed. So when I check here, you get the labels displayed. And now you can choose where you want to position them. So I can, for instance, choose inside or inside base. You can see how they are moving outside. So I can place them inside base here. And I can also come and format the bars. So if I want to format the bars, I right click them, I choose format data series. From the format data series dialog box, reduce the gap width. I drag this to the left. So you can see how I have reduced the gaps between the bars. I can also change the color of labels. I select the labels, then I come to home and choose the color I want and give it white. Then these labels, which are percentage sales, I can also give them a different position or different color, but I can leave them as black, then I simply make them bold. I can also position them in a different location by selecting them. Then I come again to data labels, I click the arrow. Now I can, for instance, put them on the left or on the right, depending on the position you need. So let me go with the above option. So here you can see that the above labels are for percentage sales. Then these ones down here are for the total sales. We can also insert the chart title by again clicking here. Then you choose chart title. Remove what is there and give it a title you want. I can, for instance, call it sales per category. Can bold it. You keep manipulating the graph according to how you want it to appear. I can also change the background color. I select the chart area, then I come to here. I can choose the color I want. So let me close this format chart area. And when you are dealing with pivot tables, you can insert the filters so that you keep changing the appearance of the data in the report. For instance, here, I can put a filter in my pivot table and keep slicing and dicing the data according to the filter. For instance, I can bring the shopping mall in the filter section. When I put here and come and click here, I can say to view the categories of sales per shopping mall. So if I click on ambience and click OK, it displays only the sales per category, but for only ambience mall. I can again add another one, gateway. Here I view the values for gateway shopping mall. If I want to view for multiple malls, I come back, I select multiple items option here. Now here I can choose for more than one mall. Again here it displays the values for multiple malls. To view again the total for all malls, I can come and select all of them and click OK. Lastly, let us see how we can refresh our pivot table after changing our data source. We can either add more rows or we delete the rows from the data source. So I can come back here to my data and I add more rows. Let me go to the bottom of the data set. I press Ctrl and down arrow, come to the bottom of the data set. I want to add extra rows. I have extra rows here. I can copy them and come and paste them in my data set. And because my data set is a table, automatically it includes them within the table. That's why in the beginning I said it is always recommended to have your data set in a table format, so that when you add more rows or more data, they get incorporated within the data set. So when I come back to the pivot table here, my pivot table here is not yet updated. So to update it according to the rows I have added, I come and right click in the pivot table, then I choose refresh. Alternatively, you click any cell, Come to Pivot Table Analyze tab, then you choose Refresh. So when you click on Refresh All, you can see that some figures here have changed and the figures in the pivot table have been updated. So let us stop here for this session. This was just an introduction to pivot tables. I'm going to be giving you more sessions on pivot tables. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so that you keep receiving new uploaded videos. Let us meet in the next session.